Alright, so this is my third video of the day to shoot. It's Monday night at 10:20 and I'm waiting for one video to finish rendering and another video to finish uploading, and then I get to go and edit this one and then try and upload all of those. But by the time this video goes live, it should be sometime Thursday morning, and if everything is going according to plan, I will be on the last day of our river trip, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit, was what I've been up to for the last 2 days when this video is going live. And it's kind of exciting. It's the first chance that we get to actually get out onto the river in canoes. As a river ranger, park ranger for the Missouri Breaks National Monument, our job is primarily to facilitate a good positive recreation experience for people who want to experience the monument, and a lot of that involves floating down a particular section of the river that's called the White Cliff section. So that's what we're going to get to go and do. Only previously this summer we'd been doing that by jet boat, because that way we can hit more campsites in less time. This is the first opportunity that we're having this summer for us to go out there on canoes, which slows the process down but really gives us a better idea of what sort of things people who are going to be out there on a recreational side instead of a work side, what they're going to be experiencing. So it's really important for us to actually take that slower route, because there are certain things that you really just aren't going to see or experience or understand when you're doing it on a jet boat and traveling 50 river miles and 12 different sites over the course of what amounts to a 5-hour span. Because you have an hour to get out there, 5 hours on the river itself, and then another 2 hours back. So it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to get out there, and just wanted to talk a little bit about what this trip is going to entail. So I've mentioned it before, but my job is for the Bureau of Land Management at the Upper Missouri River Breaks National Monument as a park ranger. This is a monument that was created in 2001 as one of the final acts of Bill Clinton's presidency, and it's about 360,000 acres of land and 150 miles of a section of the Missouri River. Most people, when they want to have fun on the monument or when they want to experience the monument, like to go and they like to float. They like to go out on the river itself and experience what Lewis and Clark would have seen, because it is the route that the Corps of Discovery took. The only difference is that we're going to be going downstream while they were going upstream, and they like to see what's called the White Cliff section. So that's the section that we're going to be floating starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow for me, 2 days ago for anyone watching this. That goes from a place called Coalbanks Landing, which is at river mile 41.5, and we'll be taking out at Judith Landing, which is river mile 88.5. So we'll be on the river for 3 days and 2 nights, going and getting to experience a lot of really fun hikes, a lot of different sites. I would say lots of wildlife, but due to all of the grazing rights and leases within the actual monument itself, it's mostly probably just going to be cattle, and we're not going to probably experience much else other than possibly some mule deer. The section that we're at doesn't really have a lot of elk. Moose are occasionally seen, but very uncommon. We may see some bighorn sheep, but it's kind of a hit or miss. One question a lot of people like to ask are bears, and the answer is not really, not on this section, not for years anyways. There have been bear sightings west of the town of Fort Benton itself, but there hasn't actually been a bear that I know of in Fort Benton for at least 4 years. So not a whole lot of large wildlife to be seen. I don't really think cows count, and we're definitely not going to see any bison. So what we are going to see, though, are a lot of different geological formations that are along the river. It's called the White Cliffs for a reason. Lots of really cool hikes that we get to go and do. There's a slot canyon at our first stop, which is going to be called Eagle Creek Campground, and it's called the Neat Coulee Slot Canyon. So I'm really looking forward to actually getting some video footage. I took some pictures of that the last time we went out there. Another hike that we're going to be doing again is called Hole in the Wall, which I actually went to for a tree watering project. We spent a day out there watering some ash trees that are above the water line. Went and did that hike already, but this time I'm going to have my actual camera, so we'll be having some hopefully better pictures and better footage of that, and really just taking the time to enjoy what the river has to offer. And from my perspective, from a professional perspective, it's going to enable me to give a better feedback to people who ask, well, what are things that I definitely want to do while I'm out here on the river? And so it's just a good opportunity for us to really kind of hone in on that, and to also just get to experience what we're telling other people to go and experience. So it's definitely going to be really exciting. So the actual trip itself is along this section of river, which this section of river right here. We will be starting all the way up here at Coalbanks Landing, coming down through this section, which is known as the White Cliff section, and eventually we will take off down here at Judith Landing. I haven't been on a canoe since college, I think, when I worked out at the I actually don't know what they call it now, but back then we just called it Y Beach, or the campus beach recreation area. We actually rented out canoes and kayaks, and I did a project that involved making a canoe camp, which is kind of funny because that's actually where I am right now, is a place that's called Canoe Camp. But overall, it should be a good time, should be a lot of fun, and I should have lots of really cool footage. I'm going to try and do kind of a daily video for recording purposes, and then I'm going to try and get those starting to publish on Friday, so the day after I get back from that. So for you guys watching this, that'll be tomorrow. For me, it'll be 4 days from now. Either way, I will see you guys then, provided that nothing catastrophically bad happens.